Yeah, what's happening? We about to bring that action. Gotta hold it down for my Seattle Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. We going beneath the waves. Get it hype, step onto the ice. Ready for some action. Release the Kraken. Hey, we going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.
What is up, everyone, and welcome into the Beneath the Waves podcast, your soon-to-be back-to-weekly recap of all things Seattle hockey and beyond. I am Matt.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Derek. This week, we need to give another special shout out to our own Heather. Matt, I think you said it perfectly in our behind-the-scenes group chat regarding her work for the Hockey News covering PWHL Seattle, and that is that she is now 9 for 9 with the articles she has written, some of which are based on 6 different personnel from the PWHL Seattle roster and coaching staff themselves. She's even had 2 of her stories, get this, picked up by Yahoo Sports. So now Yahoo Sports is now nabbing our own Heather's articles. Just beautiful to see. Since we last recorded, she published 7 new articles from her interviews with head coach Steve O'Rourke, Kayla Barnes, Jenna Bugliani, and HK21 herself, Hillary Knight, as well as an article on the involvement of PWHL Seattle in the community. Check out our Twitter feed or the link in the show notes to read these amazing articles. She also recorded another special PWHL update on Beneath the Waves, so go give that a listen as well.
And we still got to get into the full intro here, but I do have some very bad breaking news from our Heather with her boots on the ground reporting today. That being that Kraken fans on Twitter, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this, but the puck that has been lodged into the wall of Rink 2 at KCI for the last year-ish has apparently been removed. She was there doing a little work today, and she's just posted a picture of "I have bad news," and it's no puck in the wall. So, the articles are great, even if it's bad news. So that's the kind of reporting you have from Heather. I hope we see a 5,000 word essay on Yahoo Sports about the legacy of the puck in Rink 2 at KCI. We're now on to episode 36 of the BTW pod, and we have a few things we want to talk about from the last month or so since we last recorded, including the new alternate jersey, our last remaining contract being signed, the Buoy versus the Bear story that took over the internet, and the Athletics beatdown of the Seattle Kraken in recent weeks. And to kind of brush off the bad news of the puck being removed, we need to first talk about how, first up here, you need to get those credit cards ready because we have a new jersey in the pipeline. On August 4th, the Kraken released a video featuring these just Oscar-worthy acting of Vince Dunn and Brandon Montour teasing the reveal of the team's new third jersey. The teaser had mentions of a glowing anomaly, the Abyss Awakens, and a Morse code message at the end, which was deciphered and translated to be September 4th. And sure enough, last week, September 4th came, and the new jerseys were revealed in an amazing video. The new alternate uniform sets are all black from head to toe, including a matte black helmet. The arms feature a sonar wave pattern, and the crest features the Kraken S design that we've come to know and love. The coolest part of this jersey is the bioluminescent glow feature that they included in the design, which the team says will play a big part in the pregame production for the team. We also got our first look at Joey's Abyss helmet. I'll say Abyss is kind of the branding that they've given to this. We've had the red eye before, and now we have the Abyss. So we saw Joey's Abyss helmet design, once again done by Shifty, that looks amazing. And they released a schedule that these jerseys will be worn 11 times this season. What do you think of these jerseys? Are you going to get one? If you are getting one, whose name are you getting on it?
So drain my bank account because holy mother, this jersey was impeccably beautiful. I was concerned at the start, and I'm not going to lie, because the hype was there. The hype was real. And I know even in our own little group chat, we were talking about being like, this better not suck. Because I know so many people were hoping for this absolute bomb jersey where, it's going to be legendary. But sometimes an absolute flop comes out. So I know a lot of us were hoping that it was going to come out firing, and boy, did it deliver. I don't know where this is going to rank in Kraken jerseys. It sure beats the retro jersey, because let's not talk about that jersey. But No, it is fantastic, and one of the things I love about Kraken fans is that they always say that Taylor Swift fans are like the biggest Sherlock Holmeses in finding out clues and such, but the fact that we figured out that whole September 4th and that it was going to be like a glow in the dark type jersey, like people figured it out before the drop even happened. Like well, that also is because the Kraken store made a boo boo and absolutely dropped the jersey before it was released, but you know Sherlock Holmesing over here. No, 10 out of 10. I don't know who I'm going to get on it. There's still a couple players that I'd like to see that I could consider, maybe a Montour, maybe a Canner, maybe a Jordan Eberle. I already have a Joey, so and I got a Shane Wright. So those are two guys that I don't have to worry about. But man, I'm glad that we have a jersey that's really going to stick out. And the fact that they've confirmed it's going to be worn 11 games this season, it's nice to know that like we're not producing a jersey like the Winter Classic jersey, which is still, in my opinion, the best jersey the Kraken have. And it was worn a couple times and then it was hung up in the rafters, never to be seen again. So I'm glad that we have a third jersey now that we're going to get to watch, we're going to get to rep, and we're going to get to see on the ice. But let me tell you this, I cannot wait for that first game that they play when it goes dark in the arena and the thousands of fans that are wearing that jersey that night and just everything illuminates and then the players skate on the ice. It's going to be intense. So I don't care if that game's at 10:30. I don't care if that game somehow starts at 11:30 or 2 a.m. because there was a delay. I'm watching that game. I'm fired up.
Yeah, that's one of the first things I said was that it's a shame that we're not playing games in the dark because the feature is only going to be to like flex in our tunnel and maybe a little bit during warm-ups. I'm still fine with that, but in my opinion, these are the best Kraken uniforms that we have to date. Obviously, the Winter Classics are insane, and yeah, that we can all agree that the reverse retro I think is not up there. But these ones, in my opinion, are the best. The matte black helmets sold it for me. The incorporation of the red and the black. I've wanted a black jersey for this team since day one. I think the black and white is such a good and like underrated color scheme. I know like the LA Knights already use that and stuff, but it is a really good color scheme. I love it with the Kraken. They used to sell the black and white Kraken hat. They sold that for the last couple of years, and I just always wanted that. I'm so glad that we have it. Such an intimidating and just solid looking, sleek uniform. The attention to detail with like the sonar waves on the sleeves, like there's identity incorporated. And then I also just think that it's such a good sort of like pick me up for Kraken fans right now, just because of what we've all been through the last couple of years. Seeing something like this go right, like Alex was saying, and not just completely flop like we have out on the ice for the last 2 years is pretty good. And I think it's a good way to start the season with the vibes high, and maybe it'll lead to a playoff year this year. I don't know. But yeah, these jerseys are 10 out of 10, like Alex said. I don't know if I can justify getting one just because of the prices. Like, oh man, I don't know if you guys have looked, but it's just insane. To get one with like a stitched number and stuff, not heat press, it's $330 USD. To get one without any number, it's 180. So I might just do that and then like draw my own number on the back or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, so they're pretty expensive. Don't think I'm going to get one, which is sad because these are absolutely beautiful. Hopefully, I get one for free or something. In the first year I did the ice crew for the Kraken, there was like a raffle that we had at our end of the year party, and I actually got a free away jersey. So hopefully they do something like that this year with the black one. That's my only shot. But yeah, these look great.
Yeah, these are pretty unreal. I love the blackout look. I love the matte black helmet, as we mentioned a couple times. Like when we play Vancouver, I love seeing their helmets because they have the matte black look, and I think it just makes it look super, super sleek. The Sonar Wave sleeves and socks, like you said, are very cool. I actually have like similar-ish socks that I picked up on my last trip to Seattle, so I'm already like coordinating there. It's gonna be super good. And just seeing the pictures of like Jordan Eberle modeling them in the dark just looks so cool. So I can't wait to see that. And along with this, like my favorite thing in this has been a tweet that I sent out that pissed off a bunch of Vegas Golden Knights fans because they're all claiming that we're copying their glow in the dark style that they had for reverse retros. And I just tossed up a side by side and I said, we need to settle this in a blackout game with a neon puck and winner gets to keep the jerseys because I don't know. I think ours looks a lot better. And not just because smelly Vegas is smelly, but just we're so much better than them. Um, Looking at these, we are now at 5 jerseys in the Kraken closet. Let's, I know Derek, you wanted to dive into this. Let's power rank where we would have our jerseys. You kind of already teased where they are going to go. What do you guys have at your number one? Alex, what's your number one?
So number one is the Winter Classic. Still got to
I,
keep that one as my number one.
I agree. I'm Winter Classic number one. And Derek, you're on this new one as number one?
Yeah, what are we calling this one? The third
This
jersey,
is
the
the
Abyss
Abyss. The
jersey,
The
the
Abyss.
Abyss
Abyss.
jersey. Oh, okay. One more quick thing. I know
Okay.
we've already parted from my segment on this, okay, but bear with me, guys. Embracing the Abyss being like the philosophy behind it, like I literally got chills, bro, because like we are in the Abyss right now. Okay, like we're like we'll talk later. People are like putting us last and stuff. Like it's not good. Okay, we're like down there in the trenches. I think embracing the abyss is such like a good philosophical message for this team right now. Anyway, that aside, I'm putting the abyss jerseys as number one.
Okay. Number two, I'm going the home navies. I like just the basic home jersey that we have.
Yeah.
I think I need to see this one like in action to know if it surpasses it. So right now I'm putting the home jerseys at number two.
So I'm completely the same with what Matt's saying. The home navies are going to be my number two, and the only reason is because I have not seen the Abyss in person. Like this can completely change the dynamics of my rating once I see the jersey, but I got to say the home navies as number two.
Oh no, I'm regretting this idea. Not only because you guys didn't put the black ones, the abyss jerseys above the navies, but the navies are like so far down on my list. Like at my number two, I have Winter Classic because like obviously for what you guys said, it has to be up there. It's the best one that is in the abyss.
Okay. Three, I'm going Abyss.
Yeah, three is Abyss,
God,
and
Alex, get
that's
original. Come on,
All
man.
right.
oh, it's what
This is a
it is what it
All right,
is.
Alex is going first next
Canadian
time.
team up against Derek.
Number three is where we're at.
Yeah.
We got to go with the whites, the aways. And that's for obvious reasons. They're so clean. The white with our sleeve color palette is just like to die for. And then it also incorporates that navy on the sleeve. So like you're getting the best of both worlds and that clean white look. The white and teal for the logo look absolutely beautiful. And a white kit is just always going to inherently look clean. But yeah, so that has to be number three for me.
Well, he said I'm not allowed to go first, so
Oh,
I'm limiting
Hey, you're up,
collusion
Alex.
and
okay,
telling you to
well,
go.
so my fourth pick is the retro. I'm kidding. It's the whole. It's the whites. It's the whites. There's nothing wrong with the whites. To me, I just like they look great on the ice. To me, though, like I don't like owning a white jersey, and the only reasoning behind that is you spill anything on it, it just is ruined for the rest of eternity. So
I
that's
did let someone borrow my white Matty Beniers jersey to a game, and there was a mustard stain on it
see,
when it was returned to me.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
that's why I'm like that. So that's why it's number four. And it's only
What?
because as a fan, I love the whites, but like if I'm gonna rep it, like
Practicality.
I'm gonna be scared. I'm gonna be terrified that I'm gonna
That's
ruin
fair.
it. And
I
it's
would
and they're
note that the
and they're
players
not
don't have
cheap.
mustard out there.
Yeah, and they're not cheap.
Well, there's people that slam mustard packets
I
on
guess
the
there's
bench.
blood, there's stuff going, but you want to see the blood, right? Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, but
cool.
you don't want like a beer, like you don't want a beer dropped on your back, which I've had it happen, and then like it smells like beer, and then or there's a
Well, it's
stain of
gonna
beer
smell
on
like
it.
beer regardless.
Yes, but like there's a beer stain on it for the rest of eternity because you can't get it out.
Yeah. I'm going whites at four. Same
Oh, so
kind of reason.
now you're copying Alex.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Still
it's just
Canadian collusion.
something in the air up here.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was getting my first jersey on my Christmas wish list however many years ago, I was like, I want the navy over the white because I think the navy pops out better. And so, I mean, eventually I got it for like $60 on some blowout sale at Sport Check or something like that. So I don't know. I do like my white. Got Monty's name across the shoulders, and it's just not up there fully for me.
All right, my number four is the reverse retros. I have a Canner jersey, and it's amazing. And I love that they were doing something different with it. It's unique, and I also like the way the colors look. And once we get to 5, you'll understand why I
I'm not
love
gonna lie. Could I just be honest? The
it. Yeah.
first thought that came into my mind was you bastard. Wow.
Maybe like my thoughts on the reverse retro are skewed just by how cursed they were. Because didn't we go like 0-8 wearing them or something like that? Like
Yes.
didn't win a
Yeah.
single game. So maybe that's like souring it. I do think it looks cool. It's look like I mean it's as retro as you can get when we were what was that season 2 that we got them. So you don't really have a lot of retro to pull. They're definitely better than those stupid Vegas reverse retro glow in the dark pieces of trash. I'll tell you that. But yeah, it's at the bottom for me.
Retro to me, and I think that my biggest problem was is that the Kraken were 2 seasons like it was their second season in the NHL, and then the NHL decided to pull. We're gonna do some retro jerseys. The Kraken have been around for 2 years. There's nothing retro about the Kraken at this point. So to me, like dropping a retro jersey, and I know they just had to follow suit with the rest of the league. To me, it just doesn't stand in like it doesn't work with the team, and it still doesn't, in my opinion, because there's nothing retro about it. It's
Yeah.
just
I agree.
they
It's
slap the
a
logo. Yeah,
it's a bad jersey like overall, and it's
yeah,
bad compared to the rest of the reverse retros, I would
yeah.
say.
It's they
If they would have
slap.
had like a little like red green like Metropolitans action in there, that could have
Yeah,
been cool. But
honestly, the way that I think about it is, it was a missed opportunity to use the anchor because
You're always saying that. You say
yeah,
no,
that about
no,
the
because
you
Abyss
want
I'm
the
too.
not.
anchor on everything.
No, but like you got to think about it. Like I'm not saying that like the Kraken logo is bad. I love the Kraken logo, but like you think of an alternative jerseys, they're going to use a different logo. So like with retro, like why not just be like, okay, we have our 2 regular jerseys, we have our alternate logo. Let's just slap the anchor on it and put it out. It would silence everybody. Everybody would be like, oh, cool, we got a anchor jersey, and because now you still have people 5 jerseys in that would be like, what are we getting our anchor jersey?
You're that
And
person.
and so like like it's just going to be something. So I don't know, like if they did something like that, cool, but like, hey, it is what it is. It's number 5 for me.
All right, Derek, tell us why the home jersey is garbage.
Okay, the home jersey is garbage. It's our worst uniform. And that's because it has a lot of things going wrong with it. The first is that everything is so dark that it all just sort of like amalgamates together, like with the pants and the helmet, all that stuff. It's not like pleasing to the eye, in my opinion. The second thing is that when you look at like a picture of like the Kraken logo and it has like that dark navy or whatever trim, um, what's cool about the Kraken logo isn't that trim. It's like the middle part, right? And that's like all these colors, like these different colors look really cool. This dark navy thing that is the whole home jersey is not pleasant to look at, in my opinion, and it takes up like 95% of the uniform. Whereas like with the white one, you have like the contrast with that navy. There's no real like contrast here, so everything just kind of blends together. It's always been an eyesore to me. I don't super like them. Obviously, the logo on the chest is always going to save a Kraken jersey, just because the logo is so cool. But yeah, I'm not a fan of the home kit at all. I think it needs to change. Honestly, we could move towards some sort of like black home kit. I think that would be sick.
Okay. Well, let us know in the comments and on Twitter what you think or what your jersey ranking is, because I don't know that did not go the way that I thought it was going to go, but here we are. And I don't think I said before, but I'm getting Shane right 1,000% on my jersey. And it's because what Derek and I were texting the other day about it. We're like, oh my God, it's so expensive to get like numbers and stuff put on. I think you have to go with a 2-digit number player to get your money's worth out of there. Like if we had like Andre Burakovsky still, like 95, that takes up a lot of space. 84, Capo Caco, that takes up a lot of space. So I'm just thinking uh like surface area wise, getting your money's worth, you got to pick big numbers.
And speaking of getting your money's worth with Shane, the price is always right, right?
Exactly. bit.ly/btw store. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
Moving along into our second topic of this evening, we had some news a few weeks ago that our final free agent, Ryker Evans, the 2021 second-round draft pick, signed a 2-year agreement with the Seattle Kraken with an AAV of $2.05 million. With this, he was the final remaining player that we were waiting to get signed, and the Kraken currently have just shy of around $4.6 million in cap space remaining. How do we feel about the Garth deal and where the Kraken are currently sitting?
I think this deal is really good. I think it's like a perfect example of like a bridge deal, like Alex has talked about so many times on this podcast. It's actually what opened my mind to like bridge deals in the first place. So thank you, Alex. But yeah, it's definitely along the lines, the same philosophy of what we should have done with Matthew Beniers, in my opinion. But it's good. Like, I mean, I talked about the last podcast we did, which feels like a year ago, by the way, but just how good GMJB J-Bots has been. And this is yet another example. Like he just, bro, there's nothing wrong with this guy so far. He's doing everything right. And so, yeah, I love this contract. And yeah, it gives us a good position where if he starts to pop off in the next couple of years, we can, talk some more with him. But as of right now, I think it's fair compensation for the lack of anything like super special we've seen. So yeah, I super like this contract.
I love the deal. It came in less than I expected, if I'm being honest. Ryker Evans has not done anything that has screamed long-term contract for big money. He's still young, he's still developing. So you give him, that bridge contract, and it's still that prove it. So he's got that 2 years to prove to the Kraken that he is entitled to a large deal. And if not, we might see another 2-year deal because he's still young. It's great for the Kraken. It's great for the player. I puts them in a strong spot because he's going to be in the top 6. He's going to play important minutes for this team, not just this year, but the years ahead. And hopefully you can find an offensively sound defenseman because he's more stronger in the offensive zone than he is defensively. But hopefully, he can better his game on both ends of the ice. And then when it comes to the Kraken, the fact that they have just shy of $4.6 million in cap space still is incredible work, because last year we somehow were like giving the cap ceiling a hug, and we finished the season with 76 points. So yeah, no, I'm really happy with it. Lots of space to do, maneuver. And then, going into the offseason next year, we're going to be laughing, because I believe the cap is expected to go up to 104 million. So if that's the case, we will be absolutely laughing, looking at players to re-sign and possibly sign in the offseason. So yeah, I have to give J-Bots, solid work done this offseason. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what he can maneuver moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's solid, prove it kind of deal, bridge deal, whatever label you want to put on it. Um, I think, I mean, I'm very curious to see once the games start how the rankings of the D lines is going to take place. Like, I'm only going to assume that Dunner and Lars will be on the top line still, and then it really, if it's going to be Monty and Lindgren or Monty and Rig, or how that's all going to shake out. So, or who knows? Maybe Rig won't even be around for very long. We'll see. There's always like
Hopefully
trade.
not.
There's always trade rumblings that something will happen. Um, I'm pumped about it. I like it. I'm glad that we got the deal done quickly. That he, like I've said on the past few, I'm always psyched anytime one of our guys gets a little raise. So good on him. And hopefully now that he's got a little extra cash in that bag, he can start performing a little bit better. So we'll just have to wait and see how Ryker Evans does. Next up on our news catch up, we have a fun little silly piece of news since we last recorded. And it was an event that took the world by storm, that being Buoy versus the Bear. So in a video released by the team, everyone's favorite troll and forward John Hayden were fly fishing in Alaska's Katmai Park when a grizzly bear, yes, a grizzly bear emerged from the tree line and briefly charged the duo and their guides. Luckily, no one was harmed in this encounter, and Hayden felt that the bear followed Buoy based on his whole look, whatever that means. I mean, maybe he just wanted to give Buoy a hug. Who knows? It was a while ago, but did you have any kind of first thoughts when this video came out? Do you think that Bowie could have taken the bear in a fight? I mean, we've seen his fighting styles against the likes of Biz and stuff, so maybe he can duke it out with the bear. And I would also like to propose that we change our BTW nickname for John Hayden from the Bodyguard to Grizzly John Hayden, because I think it has a nice little ring to it.
Honestly, when I saw the video, I thought I was like in a dream because I was so confused when I saw it. I was like, wait, why is Bowie in the wilderness and why is there a bear behind him? And then when I watched the full clip, I'm like, wait, this is legit. So I had a good laugh about it. Like I said, one of the wilder things that happened this offseason when it comes to the Kraken, considering, all the craziness that did ensue. I love the idea on changing Hayden's, nickname to Grizzly John Hayden. I'd also call him the Grizzled Bodyguard because
That's too wordy.
okay, fine. Up to debate, but yeah, interesting little tidbit that occurred over the summer that definitely, made me do a double take.
I
Uh,
just did a little
oh.
double take there because did you just have like a Canadian slip where you said a little timbit instead of a little tidbit? I don't know if that was intentional or not. Also, I don't know about you guys, but did you watch it like 13 times in a row to try to figure out if this was some AI video put out? Because I was frame by frame trying to analyze that thing to see if that bear glitched out.
Yeah, I was looking to see if like he grew an extra leg or he had like two heads, and I'm like, no, this thing's legit. And then they dropped like the behind the scenes. I'm like, this was legit. Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is I feel like I kind of disagree with you guys that it was like funny or whatever. I was just like terrified for like what like this 600 to 800 pound creature just like barreling towards all these humans. Like it was insane. It's literally a miracle that like no one was harmed in this. Like absolutely ridiculous. And I completely agree with Hayden that like are we really blaming this bear for like looking at Bowie and not thinking it's some giant wild animal it's never seen before, just being like, "Yo, what do you do over here?" So maybe a time to start thinking about changing the mascot or something. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I think we just maybe go like play some putt-putt golf instead of fly fishing in the Alaskan wilderness.
Don't go near the grizzly bears. That is very terrifying. I don't think they'll do that again, maybe. But yeah, definitely like a wake-up call that not everything is like 100% safe all the time. But just in absurd, like even the Associated Press and stuff were reporting on it. Pretty crazy piece of news in general, and crazy that it was tied to the Kraken. But yeah, I'm super glad that everyone was safe. Like insane encounter.
Yeah, I hope that Bowie took out an extra juicy like insurance policy or something, or
He's a
like
raise.
renegotiated his deal or
Yeah.
something, because that's something else. That's wild. The last thing I wanted for us to discuss today was an athletic article, or a pair of athletic articles rather, from Dom Lucian. I apologize, Dom, if you happen to listen to this, but the Scrabble score that would be on this last name is just something else. Uh, had a bit of a takedown of the Kraken over the last few weeks of summer. I want to first start with the article that he did on NHL contract efficiency rankings for 2025, which he published on August 6th. Out of all the teams in the NHL, Dom ranked the Kraken as dead last with a rating of D plus, which I say silver lining, at least it wasn't a D minus, or an F. So there's always that. Here's what he had to say in the article. Quote, here's the best way I can describe how bad Seattle's cap sheet looks. If you use the remainder of Seattle's cap space, $7 million at the time, and added another $1 million with careful accounting to add the league's best contract, Jack Hughes at $8 million, you would not have a playoff team. What exactly is this team paying for if it's not even getting mediocrity? Countless free agent gaffes have added up over to the point that the Kraken are spending nearly $35 million. Derek has a note. It's actually $38,242,857 on the following core players: Chandler Stephenson, Jaden Schwartz, Brandon Montour, Adam Larson, Jamie Alexiak, Ryan Lindgren, and Philip Grubauer. You've heard the old adage that you can't build a winner through free agency. Well, if you also overpay each free agent, you can't even build average, apparently. That's just where the Kraken stand. The Joey Daccord deal is real nice by goalie standards anyway, and if Matty Beniers ever learns how to score, he'll have a nice contract too. But almost the entire rest of the roster is paying so much for mid that the team just ends up bad. The Kraken have their work cut out for them. End quote. Before we get into player specific contract grades that he had, how do you feel about his kind of broad sweeping assessment of the team?
Yeah, I'll go first. I want to start by addressing the first chunk of the hit piece that Dom wrote, asking what is this team paying for if it's not even getting mediocrity? Congrats to Dom because he's aptly pointed out that the Kraken didn't make the playoffs the last 2 seasons, something that we didn't all know, right? Since his point is at such an elementary level, I'm going to channel my inner teacher, Matt, to try to break this down for him. Every team gets close to maxing out the cap each season. 16 teams don't make the playoffs each season. The 16 teams that don't make the playoffs paid around $80 million to now around $90 million, with the cap increasing to have mediocrity or worse. When the Kraken made the playoffs, they were paying for a team that made the playoffs. These pendulums swing very quickly in sports, and writing like this uses results of the past to directly prescribe predictions of the future, which is a strategy that almost never works in sports. Thanks for kicking us while we're down, Dom, and you will be the first person I tag on X when the Kraken are in the playoffs, despite these awful, awful contracts. And that brings me to the contracts, okay? $5.4 million per player is what that is if you average it out. That's why I did the homework for Dom and actually got the real number, divided it by the amount of free agents that he listed. It's $5.4 million per player on that list. That is not the own he thinks it is. That's an incredibly efficient average for a core of players that are not great, are not horrible, but are mid. That's due to the efficient contracts that were given out to most of that core, with obvious overpays for Stevenson and Grubauer. But is anyone really that foolish, that inattentive, or that in a hurry to throw together some article to argue that Brandon Montour doesn't justify $7 million? Lastly, Dom delivers a parting shot at our own Joey Daccord and Matty Beniers. I don't have much to say here other than some words of advice and encouragement for Dom. Just because your frame on a team is negative doesn't mean you can't give genuine compliments. The Joey Daccord deal is absolutely fantastic from an objective point of view by any standard. And Matty Beniers is a rookie of the year who projects to be a solid, consistent two-way center. If he somehow finds enhanced scoring ability, he'll be one of the top players in the league, but that is not the bar for whether $7 million is warranted.
So I'm kind of sitting on the fence with this. When I initially read it, I had a good laugh. Then I took some time and I read it again. And Dom does point out some things that are obliviously, like completely obvious, not oblivious, because that would mean you don't realize it. But no, he points things out that you're like, no, Sherlock. And then there's other times where he points things out and you're like, didn't think of it like that. When you look at this team, sure. Is this team mid by standards of the NHL? Yes. Completely obvious. This team isn't we're god awful, and this team is not we're going to make the playoffs. They're in that beautiful little pattern where they're going, we're just not good enough and we're just not bad enough. And they sit in the mid. So yes, 100% agree. Now we kind of move forward to free agents. And why yes, Ron Francis had more horribly executed signings than he did positive signings. There are some players that he was able to pull off that I would say are a positive. One being Brandon Montour, another being Jaden Schwartz. I love those guys. Chandler Stephenson still kind of sits on the fence with me, but he is more of a pro than a con. Adam Larson's original contract, fantastic. Adam Larson's second contract, yeah. Jamie Olesiak, if you can't teach King Kong how to hit, then what the hell is he used for? Because that's what Jamie Olesiak is for us. Ryan Lindgren, I don't know. I definitely think he's an overpay because I don't know what we're going to really expect with him. And then there's Philip Grubauer, and I'm not beating a dead horse. I don't think anybody is. And hopefully he just rides off on his horse into the sunset. So, yes, there's some bad ones and there's some good ones. But as Derek said, the average cost for those players is around 5.5 million, which to the degree for most of these players ain't too bad. For some of these players, oof.
Yep.
That moves to the finale of this all. How dare you say the Joey Decord contract is nice by goalie standards? Joey Decord, in my opinion, and I will say this to my grave. So if that is this year, put it on my tombstone. Joey Decord is one of the best goaltenders in the NHL. Joey Decord has a record with the Seattle Kraken because he plays for the Seattle Kraken. You put him on any playoff contending team, and boy, those numbers are just going to cook further. So if the Kraken can figure their things out and figure their stuff out, those numbers are going to increase, and that 5x5 contract is going to be laughable. And then we get to Matty Beniers. Sure, a gust of wind blows him down every 5 seconds. He knows how to shoot the puck. He just chooses not to. But is he efficient in a two-way component? Absolutely. Is he one of the best centers defensively in the NHL? 100%. Yeah, if he figures out his shooting, he's going to be arguably one of the better young centers up and coming in the NHL, and that $7 million contract will be laughable. So yes, Dom, I agree with you in some ways. In other ways, I really do say, no, Sherlock, we saw that a mile away.
See, when I see the word overpay, all my thought goes to is Seattle is not a cup-winning, top-producing hockey town. So if you want people to come here, you got to back the Brinks truck up to their doorstep. Brandon
Great point.
Montour was coming off winning the Stanley Cup in Florida, and Ron Francis cut him what a 7.1 million dollar check to come out here and play. And I think that he's become a star for this team. I mean, like I've been personally hyped on him since 9:01 a.m. on July 1st of the year that we picked him up. But like no one's gonna come over just out of the goodness of their heart to play for $4 or $5 million, whatever it is. Philip Grubauer, we've talked that to death. Not gonna touch that at all. And like same deal for Chandler Stephenson. Like dude's won the cup twice. I'm sure that he knows his worth or what he wants his worth to be. So he's gonna go somewhere that's gonna cut that check for him. So if you want people to come here, you got to shell out the money for them to come here. And sometimes you just roll the dice and gamble, I suppose, if the numbers are going to correlate to the output that they give. I'm super curious how this next free agency is going to go and for how rampant our speculation is going to get come April, May, June leading up to it, because we got a lot of people kind of towing the line and seeing where they're going to go. So very curious where it's going to go. Yeah, absolutely do not slander Joey in that way. We will not stand for that. And I mean, Matty, we got to hope that he picks it up this year. We started to see like showings of that, especially with Capo coming over and getting a real synergized top line with him and Jaden Schwartz. So maybe because what year was it in that he like had that concussion from what's his nut that he was kind of knocked out for a couple games and slow
2023,
coming back.
2024, I think.
Yeah, so like maybe he just like was still a little gun shy coming back from that, and he's just gonna get looser and looser. We'll just have to see. We can't really read inside his brain and stuff like that. But I wanted to take a look at some of the contract grades that he gave for some specific players. There's one notable one that we're going to talk about at the end and leave out because he does a really, really deep dive on this one guy. But on this report card sheet that I have in front of me, top rated is Joey Decord with a contract grade of A plus. So hell yeah, Joey. I guess it's really good by goalie standards if you give him the top possible grade. Um, his model value that he has him valued at a $9.2 million contract, and he's making five. So pretty big steal there. Second beneath him is Jared McCann, which he gave a contract grade of B plus. Canner's making $5 million as well, and this model that they gave that he uses, however it works out, is at $7 million. So again, net positive there. And Canner, we've said before, was like our name in the rafters kind of guy, being at the top of the score sheet for Seattle all 4 years we've had. On the bottom end, we have Philip Grubauer. We'll talk about that later. And someone else who's tied with him at a grade of D minus. But we have a D plus grade for Ryan Lindgren, who we haven't seen yet, so who knows. Adam Larson, which I'm sure Alex feels very validated seeing that result. And I gotta stretch for this one. This dude gave a D grade to Brandon Monty Mania Montour. D. The only D that should be associated with Brandon Montour is defenseman. What I am flabbergasted at that list. I feel it's going to be much more spicy talking about the bottom than the top. But do you have any thoughts, first of all, on those top guys? Then we have a bunch of mid guys, like B minuses for Maddie and Mush, and Vince Dunn, and then just kind of it just washes out in the middle because we're a mid team, so we have mid grades. But thoughts on the top end first before we get heated about that bottom end.
Yeah, I just wanted to say really quick that if anyone was wondering why I was so impassioned or aggressive towards Dom, I hope you can understand now after Matt just read out that horrendous grade. But I think Jared McCann. Oh, here's the big problem with this whole thing. Okay, I'm going to become an old man really quick, but the whole problem with the whole thing is that we don't know what these model values are calculated off of. And sure, it's good to see that he has it for at 9.2 million for Joey Decord. But we have no idea how this is calculated. So keep that in mind when you're listening to this. But I do think that obviously the Jared McCann one tracks with reality more. The Joey Decord one obviously tracks with reality. I think everyone, sorry, I think everyone would agree that he's a premier goalie in the league and would demand like $9 million, maybe if like the Rangers were paying him or something. But yeah, so I agree with those, I guess. I'm just super like I have no idea how this stuff was calculated. Like you said, Lindgren hasn't even played for the Kraken. He doesn't even know how he's going to mesh with our scheme or what sort of results he's going to put up. And he already has some model value. So I wonder if this is just like based on like age and then some other stuff that isn't even really relevant to how they're performing with the team. So I'm this is a bunch of hooey.
Yeah, I think the Lindgren one is kind of hard to say because most likely they're using data based off of previous seasons. And I from what I can recall, he did have some good years, but like he also had train wreck seasons to boot. So it's kind of probably gathering that data and just trying to, state like, well, this is the contract and this is what he's been able to do. And, doesn't really add up. So, but like I said, you can't really compare anything to that until he actually puts on the Kraken jersey and skates out for his first game. Then you can criticize him all you want. And that's the truth of this. Brandon Montour, D, what the? Yeah.
Let it out. I'll go Hornet. Let it out.
What the? Like seriously, like Brandon Montour, a D? He's a defenseman, so we figured that one out. There's no way he's a D. There isn't. Like that man, and if let's be serious here, Brandon Montour led the Kraken last season. Like in my brutal assessment of the Seattle Kraken, when we dissected that team post-mortem because like they were steamrolled, and when we dissected them, Jordan Eberle goes down. We lost our captain. Brandon Montour didn't even have an A on his jersey, but that man led this team.
Letterless leader. So I kept
Yeah,
calling him.
Vince Dunn went
Vince
down
Dunn
too.
was gone.
Yeah, so Montour really did step up.
Montour really did step up. And yeah, his point projection was not the same as to what he did in Florida that 1 year. But what he does on the ice and off the ice is worth every penny. Like Matt said, Stanley Cup winning defenseman. You need that. He was probably going to be one of the best and probably one of the top players in the free agents class. And none of us expected, yes, the Seattle Kraken have signed Brandon Montour to a 7-year, $7.1 million deal. Wait, what? But to put him as a D, like, come on. Like,
Yeah,
he
the only
is arguably our best defender. Like, and I
yeah,
will say that. Like, Vince Dunn is up there, but I would say Brandon Montour is our best defender.
right.
He's great in the offense. He's good in the defense. He's a team. He's a leader. Blasphemy. I scream blasphemy that it's a D.
The only thing I can think of now, thinking about this a little bit harder, is that maybe it's based on like not right now, but the fact that he'll be here another 6 years or whatever.
Yeah,
Or
but
maybe
you could
that's
look.
for the other person too that we're going to
Yeah,
talk
but
about
you could
later.
look at Joey.
Yeah,
Like, let's be serious here.
it's such
Joey
a
in 5
BS.
years could
It's
be
such a
terrible.
BS list. There's some
Matty
BS
Beniers
model
in
value.
3 years could be horrible.
There's no way.
Like,
There's no reality that this is
no.
grounded in. Okay, this is just this dumb guy just literally writing whatever he wants. Okay, that's all it should be. Okay, let's discredit this.
Okay, I'm really happy with how fired up we got about Monty there. Remember when he set the record for fastest overtime goal?
Yeah.
Remember that? That's
Still
remember when he
doesn't.
remember when he was
pinned.
like one of very few defensemen to score a natural hat trick in an NHL game?
Dom doesn't.
That was cool.
Yeah, he's just a D though.
Remember when he was just handsome as heck when he goes no bucket in the warm-ups?
That's worth some money.
That's cool. No, it's not cool. This next guy that he takes down. So as I said before, there was one player that I didn't mention when running down some of those, and that'd be one Chandler Stephenson. In a separate article that was posted on July 31st, Dom released a list of the NHL's 10 worst contracts. Of these contracts, Stevie was ranked at number 3. I'm not going to read through the entire thing for you, but he opens by saying that on a surface level, Stevie seems like a fine player with top face-off production, second on the team in scoring, and leading all forwards in playtime. And then he refers to Stevenson as an empty calorie goal scorer, with a healthy chunk of his point production coming from power plays, specifically secondary assists, and then goes on his 5v5 play. To close out the article, Dom says, quote, at his price tag, Stevenson needs to be a capable second line center for the next 6 years in Seattle. In year one, he already doesn't look like one, even if he's used like one, end quote. We've had a lot of real fun discussions regarding Stevie in the past. With these conversations, I feel like we're often in the minority of the Kraken world. I don't know, call us Stevie stands or something. But how do we feel about this assessment of our $6 million man?
When it comes to Chandler Stephenson, $6 million, like I will say, it's a lot of money. But when the cap is up to what it is now and what it's going to be in the next couple of years, $6 million is going to be nothing. It's going to be pennies on the dollar. Is he your second line center? No. His production rate more falls with a third line, but there are arguably worse contracts in the NHL. And when I mean worse, I don't mean 2 contracts. Like, there are plenty of contracts, and I'm too tired to look them up right now, that you could arguably argue like that is bad. So yeah, it just, and I know there's a lot of Kraken fans that say that Stevenson is poo poo, but if we're being serious, like, he was one of our best players last season, and that's saying something. And yeah, is he going to regress? 100% he's going to regress. I'm regressing. I don't even play hockey. So, it is what it is. And the contract, when it's up at the end of his tenure with the Kraken, whether that be with the Kraken or with someone else, or if he's on his own little island that we've created called Stevenson's Island because we've put him on LTIR, we don't know. To me, I look at the contract and I go, could we have spent $6 million elsewhere? We could have. But at the same time, he's been producing in a way that we need. He's not flashy. He does his job, and that's it. I don't think that really earns him the right to have number 3 on the worst contract in the NHL. Is it a good contract? No. Did we overpay for him? Probably. But it's not that bad. Like, I've seen worse. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. And I'm one who criticizes Chandler Stephenson on multiple occasions, and sometimes I say he's not the best, but I think this is a little harsh.
I will say before you go in, Derek, the report card that I talked about before, he was rated at a D minus, so tying Philip Grubauer. Stevenson's contract is $6.3 million for 6 years. According to Dom's model value, he is worth $1.5 million. So that gives a total surplus of negative $28.6 million of his contract.
There's no way. I'm just going to say this right now. Who in the hell makes $1.5 million in the NHL now?
Ty
Like
Cartier.
fourth line, fourth line plugs are making like 2.5, 3 million now.
Yeah, this list is just a bunch of hocus pocus hooey. It's dumb. Okay, I'll go. So for Stevenson, I'm gonna sound like an old man again here, okay? But in the last couple of years, I got like super into like advanced stats and analytics and stuff like that, okay? I think that Stevenson might be a guy where he sort of dodges all of these analytics in a sense where he, like Alex said, he goes out there and he does his job. He gets secondary assists. He wins faceoffs. He plays a role like Curtis from what
Sound of hockey.
from Sound of Hockey, described as like sort of like an Alexander Wenberg role of going out there and eating minutes against like tough opponents. These are things that are very valuable. And like Alex said, you can't pay a guy $1.5 million to go and play 22 minutes against like hard opponents. That's not a thing. It's just this model falls apart. Another thing, another example of this is that secondary assist word. Okay. And I used to be really against that too the last couple of years. Oh, they're only secondary assists. Okay. We all know how the game of hockey is played, right? You're out there. There's 5-on-5. Okay. There's five players on both sides of the ice. Okay. We got that. Sometimes there's five
Could
on
be
four,
less, could
like
be more.
Stevenson. And so he's out there. Okay. Everything is cohesive. He's passing to someone, they're passing to someone else. That counts as an assist in hockey, okay, because it's valued as an assist. He's doing something to create the scoring play. So just because he's not the person who fed it to the person for the one timer, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have value. And I think that's where everything's getting lost these days. And that's why I sound like an old man. But everything is getting lost these days in these numbers where everyone thinks that they can look at them and then just see the entirety of a player like it's baseball or something. Hockey's not baseball. It's not a one-on-one. It's 5-on-5, and there's so much stuff going on up there. If you watch the games and you followed the Kraken last year, you know that Stevenson was a vital role to our team. Obviously, our team was bad, but he was one of like the consistent good players on the team. So to say that he would be worth $1 million per year is hocus pocus hooey. Like I said, this guy Dom, he created some model based on numbers, and I don't think it's giving him the best results. But when people see these neat sheets with these grades and with these numbers, and it's all objective, they're just like, oh yes, we as humans just crave this information. So I think it's a bunch of hooey.
I can't wait for Chandler Stephenson to get 120 points next season and just be like middle fingers to the sky.
Oh, they're all going to be secondary assists though, so they don't count.
Oh, well. Maybe we should start counting tertiary assists. What do you think about that?
Every
How's
player on
that?
the ice gets a point.
Yeah. The plus
Point.
minus just turns into
Point.
points in general. All right. I love Channy Steves. I've like not to the degree of my Jordan Eberle or Brandon Montour fandom, but I like the guy. We have many TikToks and reels of us saying, "Is Channy Steves a bust?" and saying no, and being hyped on him and calling him our assist king. Even though I guess you got to put an asterisk on it now because it's only secondary assists. I don't care. He was, what did I say, second on the team in terms of points last season. There's something to say about that. And I only hope that he continues to do really well. Does he do some garbage things? Sure. But we got lots of guys who do some garbage things sometimes. So I don't know. I hope that he does well, and maybe we get a new report card next offseason, and he's going to be a little more valued. We'll have to see. Man. fired up now. I need to go for a run around the block or something. All right, let's round things out here with a couple quick hits of Kraken news. First up, an update to the Kraken trivia stat of the OG Kraken, Luke Henman. He is no longer with the organization, as it was announced on August 3rd that he'd be heading overseas to Finland to play for the Tampereen Ilves of the Liga. I'm sure that I nailed that. So again, we always love our trivia fact of the first ever Kraken that was signed pre-expansion draft. So good luck to Luke Henman. I think I saw something that like in his first game he scored 50 some seconds in, so seems to be doing well over there. Just best of luck to him. Big congrats to BTW favorites Brandon Montour and Joey Decord on being invited to Team Canada and Team USA Olympic orientations camp respectively. Do we know when like teams have to be announced by, or is it just they're just trying things out right now? Sweet. Your silent nods are really reassuring on an audio only format. So Alex is nodding away that we don't know. All right. A big congrats as well to 2025 first round draft pick Jake O'Brien on being named captain of the Brantford Bulldogs for this upcoming season. Very exciting. We love when our Kraken little squids get promotions like that. Kraken hockey is getting into full swing as the roster for the Prospects game on September 13th against the Vancouver Canucks has been announced. The game will be played at the Angels of the Winds Arena in Everett at 6 p.m. and features names like Berkeley Catton, Jagger Furcus, Jake O'Brien, Blake Fiddler, and Ty Nelson. So if you want to see some mini Kraken hockey, head on up to Everett and check out that game. Speaking of prospects, 2022 fourth round pick Tucker Robertson was traded to the Philadelphia Flyers for forward John Randall Avon. Avon had 16 goals and 19 assists in 2 seasons with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms of the AHL. And lastly, dates have been announced for rookie camp on September the 11th and training camp on September the 18th. Both of these camps are open to the public, so take a look at the Kraken socials to see what is going on there. I'm sure there's lots of exciting things you can go out and check out. Derek, have you ever been to like rookie camp, training camp, that kind of stuff, and seen what's going on?
Yeah, I've been to prospect development camp, and I think that's actually it. So it was a couple of years ago. It was like Ty Nelson, Tyson Jugnoth, like all those guys. And we had just drafted Shala or Shale. And so it was cool seeing those guys, especially like the goalies that we always talk about. Blanking on their names kind of, but I think one of them's named, what are their names?
Coco.
Yes, Coco. I saw Coco there. He was sick. I think we had like 2 Swedish goalies that came in at the same time. We had just drafted Vendenpaw. But yeah, so pretty cool. Definitely go out there if you haven't before. It's pretty cool to see all the young guys.
All right. And that'll do it for this week. We are still maybe partially on summer vacation mode. We're definitely going to be ramping up again soon. We'll be back to weekly content very soon. Might be another week or so until we get back. We'll have to see. Maybe some really exciting Kraken news will happen in the last little bit and we'll come on and swing through and let you know. Derek, could you let everyone know where they can find BTW online?
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. But before that, I'd like to say, please go over to bit.ly/BTW store and check out the kind of collections we got going on now. A big thank you to everyone who purchased from our new Cartier Partier collection and our Mush collection for Mason Marchment. Go check those out if you haven't already. And if you have received your gear from those orders, we'd love it if you would share a picture on Facebook or Twitter. Just let us know. It'd be super cool to see. And then please go check out Heather's articles and the bonus pod. The link will be in the show notes, and follow at Heather Nicole with no E and at the Hockey News W to see more of her work. And keep your eyes on your podcast feed to see when she drops more PWHL episodes. Please drop a follow and a 5-star review on the podcast app of your choice, and follow us on all socials. It helps us out a whole lot if you could take a second to like or comment on those videos, and keep up with our Kraken countdown on Twitter and Instagram. We're posting a player each day for their number and how many days until the Kraken season starts.
I gotta say, quick shout out to Derek, a little peek behind the curtain, because at the start of every week I say, "All right, dude, here's our countdown," and he just goes, "Oh my god!" and then he has to boot up his Photoshop machine and he grinds out. Especially when we get to the lower number here, there's a lot more lower number Krakens than there were in the 40s, 50s, 60s. So if you dig those designs, go drop a like on them because Derek puts in the work getting those all made up for you.
I think I did about 30 of them yesterday, maybe about like 28, because I think there were a couple numbers missing. But yeah,
I was like, dude, if you just want to like knock him out in one go instead of me harassing you, here's the next 30 days of content you need to make.
took a couple hours, but they are all done, so they will all be getting posted if Matt is not snoozing through his alarm. Okay, good. And please, if you want to find us anywhere, we are found at BTW SEA. And we hope that you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for listening. And yeah, we'll see you when we see you.
We going beneath the waves. Going beneath the waves.